Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint this flower with some water droplets. So water droplets are going to be kind of our focus today. So I think it'll be a really fun project. And I'm going to show you step by step how to do it from start to finish. I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's been in chat during our live show today. So if you have questions while I'm painting, you can ask those and I'll try to answer them. Let's get started. Alrighty, so I've got my brushes and everything laid out here. I'm going to be using an 8 by 16 inch Fredrix mixed media plein air canvas board. It's a solid core. And I've already sketched out my drawing onto it just to kind of save us some time. I'll show you really quickly how to draw it though here in a minute. I've got a number 12 bright for some of the background work. And then I've got a few other brushes here. These are all Princeton brushes. Princeton is our brush sponsor, so thank you to them. Fredrix is our canvas sponsor, and they provided the canvas today as well. So we're really appreciative of those sponsors that help out our channel. We've got a 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch angle brush and a number 2 round in their VelvetTouch line. And then in the Aspen brushes, which these are kind of a new brush for me, and I really like them. They're a little bit stiffer bristles. So thinking for the flowers, we're going to be using them. It really pushes that heavy body acrylics around pretty easily. So these are number 4 bright, number 6 Filbert, number 2 round. And then these are the 6100 series, a little bit softer, more flexible. So they're good for like fine blending, a little bit. If you need a more soft blend, these ones will give you a little bit more texture in your paint and coarser. So it just depends on what you're going for. I've got a number 4 Filbert, number 6 Angle Bright, and number 2 round in the 6100 series. Okay, go over our colors really quick. Just remember to, forgot to spray them. I've got a burnt umber, burnt sienna, yellow oxide, cadmium yellow, medium, quinacridone magenta. That'll be our main color on our flowers. Dioxazine purple, ultramarine blue, phthalo green, yellow shade. This is unbleached titanium, titanium white, and I've got some fluid zinc white. That'll be our main color for our reflections in our little bubbles. And then we've got some glazing medium over here also. All right, let's draw really quick. I'm going to go through this pretty quick today. So thanks for joining us. And if you're new to our channel, I hope you subscribe and come back. Ring the little bell by the subscribe button if you want to get email notifications of our upcoming videos whenever we go live. And that will remind you of that. That way, if you miss a couple of shows, YouTube doesn't stop suggesting us to you. That's what happens.
Who would miss one of our shows?
I'm just saying life happens, you know, but that's kind of how the algorithm works nowadays. Is like if you haven't watched it within the last week, it just stops suggesting it to you. Like, oh, I guess they didn't ever want to see any of their videos ever again. It's like, no. All right, so this is obviously shorter than my reference photo here. So I'm just going to mainly kind of fill in this area, and our flower is going to be kind of scrunched up in here. I use the longer canvas. The reference photo is a little bit wider than this canvas is. It's like 9 by 16. This is 8 by 16, so we lost about an inch off of it, but that's okay. We'll kind of make do. All right, so the first thing is kind of just to kind of figure out where that heart of the flower is, and it's kind of a oval. It kind of goes off the side of the page, and then these little flower blossoms curve around the little tight petals here. They're all crowded around this little area right here and overlapping each other just a little bit. And then there's one here. So you're not seeing very much of that. And then all of this down in here is really dark. So we're not actually going to have to define much of this. We're just going to make sure our colors go dark because I can't really tell in the photograph what is happening down here. Then there is a petal that comes up right in here and curves around like that. And then they just kind of start coming out and getting wider and wider. This is the kind of general shape. These ones are facing towards us. We've talked about that. You know how your flower petals coming out this side are going to, and Mark loves this part when I show my fingers. The largest petal out here is laying flat. And then the ones that are curling in towards us, they start to get these weirder shapes. You can see how they, they kind of start to do like this. So that's what we're doing here. We're going to be drawing those. Are going to be, they're still all the same shape. Some of them may be smaller than others, but they're just curved in a different direction. So we're not seeing as much of them. And then this one is curved out here. And we're seeing a little bit of the shadows underneath. And then as we go out, they're going to start to kind of lay flatter. We're going to see more of the petal. And these ones we're seeing the backside of them actually. All of these, we're seeing the underneath. And then these ones are starting to unfurl. We're seeing the inside of the petal. And there's a little bit of the underneath showing there. So kind of an oval shape. And then this long one coming out, curving out. I'm not going to worry about the leaf. It's basically just a triangle shapes like that. I'll put them off camera. But here's our little leaf here. It's got a little wiggles on the tip, and then it curves in around and comes in to right about where this one comes out. Right in here somewhere. Like that. And then our other one, this one's got a big water droplet on the back side of it. And then some more coming out this way. Okay, so you get the idea. That's kind of how we're drawing our flower. This one's got a petal coming down. And then there's some stuff happening here. We're not really sure what. It's all kind of off the canvas. So our water droplets are going to be, some of them are like right on the edge. So like this one is like right on the edge, but we're not seeing, it's not going to be a circle necessarily. It's kind of more like a flattened out oval. Like the top part of it is circular, but this bottom part where it attaches is flattened out. There's a couple on this little one here. And then up here, this one here has one. And this one you're going to see, so here's the flower. This one you're going to see, it's got like a kind of a flattened shape, and then it comes up and around, kind of like a snow globe almost off of it. Same thing for this one. It comes in just a little bit right here. Cuts off a little part of that curve of the flower. There's a little notch there I didn't draw. And comes out like that. These are really fun to draw. And then there's going to be like some reflections in these. The reflections are going to follow the curve of the shape, whatever you've got here, this little rounded. So all these reflections are going to have a little bit of a curve to them. And then this large one here is really kind of right along that edge. I'm not seeing it on the actual petal itself. And it's large. Just think of like a circle if it kind of got smushed a little bit. Just slightly smushed. So it's not like a perfect circle like this. Like you're not drawing a circle and cutting off. It's just slightly pushed down. And the bottom half is just resting right along that edge of the flower there. And then again, we're going to have all these curved reflections in here that are going to kind of follow the curve of the outline of the water droplet. Okay, so there's our drawing. Not too hard, I don't think. What you thinking, hun?
Just looking at your humidifier.
How's it doing?
Should you move your stuff right there?
What?
Should you move your stuff right there?
This? Sure. You worried about my phone? I don't think it's going to hurt my phone.
No, your phone will be fine.
Or anything. What?
Your phone will be fine. Because it's water resistant.
Right.
Okay, just keep painting. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me take a drink.
Get some tea.
All right. So I used a watercolor pencil to sketch onto my canvas or some sort of water-soluble media. You can trace it onto paper and then use there's Sorrel, which is a water-soluble transfer paper that I really like. That's also, all the materials and everything are down in the description. So if you want to figure out where to buy those, I've got an Amazon shop that's got an acrylic painting supplies list, and it's got all the stuff that I'm using today, just about. And then the brush guys, for your brushes, they give a discount of 5% if you use the code Angela Fine Art. So, all right, let's get going here. I'm going to grab the number 12 bright, wet it down a little bit, and I'm just going to paint in this background fairly quickly. It's not going to be our focal point, so I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. Using white or this is the Unbleached Titanium, I should say, and then the pretty much equal parts of the blue and green. Ultramarine Blue, Phthalo green. Looks good, and then I'm going to use some brown. The brown will just kind of tone it down, make it a little bit more earthy color, a little bit more natural color. There we go. I thought about starting with an undercoat that's just, like thought about yellow might work okay, like a yellow oxide, a thin layer of yellow oxide or something like that, but I don't know. I didn't think it would really matter all that much with this one. So I'm going to go fairly dark with this background. Yeah, but I do want a little bit of this color inside my bubble. So I'm going to go around it at first. And then I'm going to thin out my paint. And just paint over it. So I'll have that color in there. Try to leave where you can see where that bubble is. And it's fine if you go over your edges a little bit. Really, if you wanted to, you could fill in this whole half of the canvas with the green and then do your design over the top of it.
So you doing okay today?
Yeah, doing all right. My arm is hurting. I took Thursday off. Usually do my Patreon, $10 Patreon level class on Thursdays. We've been working on a project for a month, and we're going to take a second month in March to finish it. And
second month in March?
Well, I'm saying we're taking the second month. We did it in February, and then we're using March to finish it. So it's taking 2 months instead of 1 month. Usually I do a project that takes 1 month, and we finish it in, a few sessions. And anyhow, so since this is our bonus video weekend for Patreon, we're going to be doing a video tomorrow. And those bonus videos are usually quite long, sometimes 6 hours or so. Hopefully this one won't take that long, but you never know. Anyhow, and this video today, you know, I figure it's going to be at least 2 hours. So I'm like, I'm going to take Thursdays off before the bonus video weekend. So I'm like, okay, you know, so I'm just going to take the whole day off and I'm just like going to enjoy myself. So, you know, decided to do a puzzle. Well, like something about the puzzle irritated my arm. I have no idea. I think it's just like using weird, I don't know. I need to work on my arms, I guess. Figure out some workouts so I can do puzzles. So my arm was hurting this morning, so I'm wearing my brace. I'm like, how did I strain my arm doing a puzzle?
So you have puzzle elbow.
I do.
Some people get tennis elbow.
I don't understand. Like I'm trying to take the day off and like rest my arm, and I'm like, okay, let's just do puzzle. But something about the reaching and I don't know. I have no idea.
So you'll have to do puzzle by using your teeth.
So I can't do puzzles either. Apparently. So funny. Like how that would be. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but
you know you're getting old when.
Yeah, that's about it. When you wake up with a strain, with your knees hurting, and you've been sleeping, you've been in the most relaxed position possible, and you wake up with sore knees.
Mm-hmm. You injured yourself while sleeping.
Exactly. Yeah, that's about it. It's like, how do you injure yourself while doing a puzzle? I'll never know. I don't know. So yeah, my arm's not in 100%. Took the day off thinking I'm gonna rest up, and then, you know, abused it.
And then you just went to partying.
I did. I partied down on puzzles. I usually don't do them except for at Christmas time, but I thought, why should I deny myself the joy of puzzling all year long? I know why now, so I'm not gonna.
I mean, we need to use the dining table for something.
We're not using it to eat off of, so
Right.
Might as well.
And while we're not doing laundry, you might as well use it to do puzzles on.
While I'm not folding laundry on it.
Yeah.
Might as well. Yeah, so who outsmarted who? There.
That's right.
All right, so I'm going to do a little bit lighter version. I did a little bit lighter version down in here where it touched in there. And there's some green. Excuse me. There's some green in here. And there's some in here, but I'm not going to put that much right there. And then I'm going to just kind of, hopefully this is dry enough that I can do this. Just going to lay in some, yeah, I need to let that dry because I can see that it's kind of wanting to lift. What happens with acrylics is once they start to dry, they start to bond to one another and they get sticky. And they'll stick to your brush and pull right off the canvas if you mess with them while they're in the middle of drying. So I've added some yellow to this color, and just a little lighter version here that's got some of that lighter color in it. And I'm going to use that for the leaf. Just go ahead and paste that in. And when I'm filling this in, I'm going to go in the direction that I'm seeing the veins in the leaf. That way, if there's any like lines in my paint, they'll kind of look like we meant to do it. Get a little bit darker right along that edge there. And of course, this is not going to be our final coat. With acrylics, there's several layers that you are going to lay down to get your design to look the way you want it to. So I've called the first few layers kind of the ugly stage because usually the paint is not looking too hot. The design isn't really showing up much, and it's kind of the under layers So that's what we're doing. We're kind of doing the dark underlayer of this leaf. It's going to have all those really pretty highlights to make it really pop off the canvas, but we're going to add those later. It's just our first layer here. Okay, that's going to work. I think I'm going to go ahead and do another layer on here with this kind of lighter green. Just give it a little bit different color inside our bubble here.
So, do you know what kind of flower this is?
It looks like a mum to me.
Mum?
Looks like it. Chrysanthemum.
Is it the word?
Chrysanthemum.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering if mum's the word.
Oh my God. It's too early for somebody contacted me about my sighing. It's like, sorry, I sigh. That's just how I breathe. I'm a mouth breather. It's bad. It's a bad habit. I'm not upset with Mark. Although sometimes I sigh when he upsets me, but most of the time I'm just sighing because that's how I breathe. So thank you for the concern. Yes, I appreciate it.
So that sigh there was more like a teenager sigh, like when you ask them to do something.
Yeah, that sigh was more like
Like really.
Like really. Like, seriously?
But it was a pretty witty.
Are you for reals?
For real? Is this real life?
Just going through here and doing a second coat, making sure that paint was dry underneath there. This is still a little tacky right here, so I'll wait to give that a second coat, but everything else looks all right. And I'm just kind of doing some weird stuff in that background. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, just kind of blending in some other shapes. So there's kind of, I don't know, something going on. I'm going to add some pink over here. I just realized that there's like pink in the corner. So I'll add that later. Let's go ahead and clean this out. And I think I'm going to use this brush and just do kind of a wash of kind of a light pink over everything. And I'm going to try to do it without taking off all of the under layer paint. We'll see. I don't want to take off my whole drawing. No, I'm not going to be able to do that. Okay, we'll just have to do them individually then. Well, either that or I can maybe, let me try glazing. Okay, I can sort of glaze it maybe. Just don't want to lose all of my drawing there. But this will go faster if I can kind of just start with a little bit of paint on there. Okay, let's do that. Glazing a really light layer so that I can see my drawn lines still through it. And I just added white to my Quinacridone Magenta to get this color. And Quinacridone Magenta is already transparent, so it glazes really nicely. Ooh, where is that petal? Okay. Just disappeared that petal altogether. Right there. Okay. I'm just going to go back in here and draw it in with my white so I kind of know where these are because they're wanting to disappear on me. Okay, let's just... I can't do the glazing. It's going to take too much of it off. But, so ideally, maybe glaze first. What you can do is put your main outline colors. So do the outline of this large flower, like draw it on paper, trace it onto tracing paper, and then outline the difference between the green and the pink areas, because you don't want to put the green over here. It's just going to be too much to try to cover up that green with the pink. It'll take too many layers. So paint in your green and then paint in all of the pink, and then transfer on all of your lines on top of the pink. And that way you'll have that kind of head start. And you don't have to paint around all the lines like I'm going to have to do here. So I switched to the number 4 bright here. This will kind of help push that paint around pretty easily for me and get it on there quickly. I'm not really worried too much about how it looks right now. Again, I'm just kind of trying to get the paint on the canvas. But while I'm at it, I'm just going to go ahead and add my dark lines. So ideally, if you had your pink already down, you can add these dark lines on top of that, and you wouldn't have to paint around each little area like I'm going to have to do. But at some point, we're going to have to do this anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and mix up a whole lot of the light pink area over here. So I have like 3 colors. I'll have the kind of light pink, and then a darker pink, and then the medium pink here. What were you going to say?
Now, what series brush are the black ones?
These are Aspen.
Aspen, okay.
Yeah, and they come individually, but they also come in a 4-pack, and that's the ones that I have, are the ones that are in the 4-pack. And I'm definitely going to get some more of them, because I really like them. I like how they work on with the heavy body acrylics. Heavy body acrylics are so firm that they can be hard to push around with especially if you're using them thick like I am here.
Are they available on the brush guys?
Yeah, they have them. I think they might have the set. I'm not sure if they have the set or not, but I know they have the individual.
Okay, I was looking
brushes.
at your list. I didn't see them, so.
Are they not in my thing?
No, I see VelvetTouch and
Okay.
Catalyst
Okay.
and 6100.
Okay. Well, yeah, you can just search for Aspen. And
So in their
they'll
search
pop
thing
up.
there. Okay.
Yeah, use their search thing, but you can still use the code no matter, even if it's not on my list. You don't have to. You can get whatever you want.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to use just the stuff on my list. It'll apply to your entire order.
So I can get some chicken nuggets.
Highlight. Yes, honey.
You're so good to me. Oh, yeah. You just go in there. If you use a link and then go up and just type in Aspen in the search, you find them there.
Yep, they're right
Yep.
there.
But not chicken nuggets.
No, I'll just have to ask him to add them to my list. I thought I did already, but he's waiting on me to send him a list of, we're going to be having a list of intermediate brushes. Right now we've got a list of beginner brushes that are, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the bubble with the pink. We've got a list of beginner brushes in there. That's kind of a starter set that are kind of all my favorite brushes that I recommend for beginners to get. And we're going to have an intermediate set too. I just haven't picked out the brushes yet.
Here's a good question for you.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to know, what is a bright brush?
A bright brush is a flat, but it's shorter. So here's the flat version of the same brush. This is a flat. This is a bright. This is number 4 and number 8, but the 8 bright would be longer, like this one is.
So the length of the
bright,
bristles.
the 8 bright would be short like that, So the bristles are longer on a flat brush. Brights just, I like them. They give you a little bit more control over what you're painting. Flat brush can get floppy. These ones I don't think have that problem as much because they're so firm, anyways.
And somebody's asked, do you think if the red pencil would show through if they're using a student grade paint?
Shouldn't. No, I don't think so. I mean, I wouldn't put it super dark, but you can always, and I do this sometimes if I think that my pencil lines are going to come through, is you can take a damp, very lightly damp, like almost dry paper towel, but just slightly damp, and just kind of brush off the extra transfer, and it won't take it off. It'll just kind of blend it out a little bit so that it's a little bit easier to paint over, not so dark.
And then another brush question. They would like to know, is there an advantage to using the long-handled brushes?
Just some of my favorite brushes are long-handled. Sometimes certain techniques, the long handles help. So there's certain things when I'm doing that the longer handles work better. I'm trying to think of when it was the last time I was holding it way far back. There was a painting.
It was just recently, like one of the last shows.
What was it? I can't remember what I was doing. Was it the Impressionist lady?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just, oh yeah, it was sketching it with so holding it real far back and then just kind of lightly sketching with it, it kind of gives you like a softer look. It's not as hard to find, edge. Okay, get a darker color here. Doing really dark down in here. I really didn't want to have to paint in each individual petal, but it looks like we're going to have to do that. At least somewhat. Again, putting in the brush strokes in the direction of the flower growth, even though it's kind of awkward sometimes, you will be glad you did. It's going to be much easier to get the finished look that we're going for if you're not fighting all these weird angles. Okay, gonna fill in our bubble. Water droplet. Okay. Using that white to kind of define that edge a little bit. And then there we go. Okay. Using the lighter color.
So you said that you think the aspirin has a set
Yes.
of brushes. Okay. 'Cause it looks like just right now the brush guys is just individual brushes. So
Okay.
do you know what came in the set?
Yeah, it was the 8 flat, 4 bright, 6 filbert, and 2 round.
Okay.
And they actually asked me what I would want in a set.
What?
I might have had a little bit to do with what brushes are in there.
Ooh.
Maybe a little bit.
Hope you said chocolate.
No, I didn't say chocolate.
Oh, man.
No, it was like last year or the year before. I can't remember. But they offered. Well, no, I'm not gonna go over anyhow. But yeah, they did ask me, Princeton, what brushes I would have in a set, and those were the ones I picked. So could have been. Could have had a little bit to do with it. I'm sure that I wasn't the only artist they asked.
Well, I know they didn't ask me, so I see how they are.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You might if you painted more.
I doubt it.
You doubt it?
Yeah, I doubt it.
I think we're going to pay you not to mention our brushes.
Please. Please don't use our brushes.
Going to go with a little bit of burnt umber here with this Quinacridone Magenta in the shadow area here. I don't want it to be like super like in your face bubblegum pink when we get this done. It's going to be just different colors here. And going back in the opposite direction with just a little bit like a shade lighter here. And go ahead and darken up this one too. And then going back in with that light color and just kind of highlight the edge just a little bit to separate these two petals. Get some of that darker color back in here. I can tell that this paint is starting to dry and it's getting sticky and it's lifting. It's not wanting to lay down a second layer over there. So just need to, when that happens, you just need to let it set. It just needs some time to dry and then you can always go back in later. But if you're having, you know, issues with that, if you're trying to paint and you're like, why is this paint not laying on the canvas? It's like not, I'm trying to put a second coat on there, but it's not covering at all. And one, you probably need more water in your paint, and two, it's probably drying. It's probably not, the underlayer is probably not fully dry yet, so you just need to let it set for a minute and dry. You can use a hairdryer on it even. Just make sure it's not on the hot setting. Or if it is, just hold it way far away from it so it doesn't, like, it can actually kind of mess with the paint. Curl it. I've had students where they've gotten it right onto the canvas and it's kind of bubbled the paint up a little bit. So basically, at its core, acrylics are plastic. So you're, you know, you think about plastics and heat, you know, there you go. It's gonna gonna melt it. Okay, just adding a little bit of something going on in that water droplet there to get some of the darker color for this back side of the petal. Curving up around. Let's put some more of that in here.
So we're gonna be
What?
we're gonna be working tomorrow.
Yes, we're working tomorrow. Why?
Patreon bonus video.
Yes, we are. Painting birds. It's going to be fun.
Boom, birds right there.
It's actually similar to, we did some birds on cherry blossoms a couple of years ago for one of our bonus videos. So it'll be a good companion piece for that one. I wish I had it out. It's in a box somewhere. Or I'd show it to you, but we're going to have our paintings. We're buying a storage unit for our paintings, so all 300 and something of them. I don't know how many we have, but there's a lot. So we're going to be storing them in a big cabinet, and so I'll be able to index them and have a little bit more. They're getting out of control. They're all in totes. When we did our renovation, we kind of put them all in totes for temporary storage, and I have no idea where anything is anymore, so we've got to get them out of the totes and get them figured out, sorted and all that. So that'll be a project for the upcoming weeks. And we've got a new newsletter out today, so if you're part of our newsletter, on our newsletter list, we sent it out a little bit late today because we're changing our email service, so trying to figure out how to get that to work. Brennan working hard for me, doing it. I was able to hire a social media helper last year, and Brennan has been so nice. He's given me a whole day off. I can do stuff like puzzles because of him, so it's nice. It's like, wow.
Very cool.
I know. Since Mark won't quit his job to help me, I gotta.
Mark wants to get a truck.
Mark needs to work so he can buy himself a truck. Check. I understand, honey. I have people were asking me this week if you got your truck, and they were concerned about your truck. They wanted to do that for you. Like, no.
It took me like a year and a half to get to buy an iPad.
Yeah, it did. It did.
So that's how I roll.
He's pretty. Sometimes you're an impulsive shopper, but
True.
not with big ticket items.
I mean, if
usually.
I see ice cream, I go for it.
Yeah. All right, going back in here with this lighter color here. I added some purple, so we had kind of got a kind of a yellowish tone going here, and then we got the purpley tone going there. We'll alternate. I'm not worried too much about my lightest colors at this point. We're going to add all the really, really bright highlights at the very end, so right now we're not worried about that. We're just trying to get kind of the darker values in and get the main colors on. I need to just cover all of this. I'll get get caught up in all these little details over here. One thing I've noticed about working on these panels is they seem to tend to kind of suck the moisture right out of the paint somewhat. They can be a little trickier to work with because it's kind of like a paper, I think, base. So it's almost like working on paper. You have to add just a little bit more water to your paint. Give you a little bit more working time. And I'm intentionally leaving kind of some streaks in the paint here because you can see the flower in our photograph has got some streaks in it. Okay. And just going in the opposite direction with the lighter color to kind of blend it back down. There we go. Yeah, I like that little bit of a purple touch in there. It looks good. Just added a little bit over here.
It's awfully quiet.
Yeah.
We're just gonna sit here and watch paint dry.
I'm thinking.
Ooh. Well, be careful.
Be careful thinking. Do you want to strain yourself? Is that what you're saying?
Don't want anybody to get hurt.
Okay, there we go. So I want it really, really dark down there. And then down in here, I'm going to actually add some of this green. I'm going to grab that purpley pink and add green. Oops, I didn't want to leave that light color in there. Let me clean up my brush. I need to add more green to my palette too. I used it all up. I'm gonna maybe see. I might switch to this brush here. This is 6 Filbert. And spray down. When you thin out the paint like this, it dries a lot faster, so you just have to keep it moist. grab the white on the tip. Okay, so I'm just going to try to define each of these petals right now. And then I'm going to darken up the bottoms. Pull back up into the white area. Doing, hun?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah. How's the stream?
It's okay.
Everybody hanging in there?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Did you just spray your paints?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she just sprayed it with just regular water. High quality H2O.
Yep.
And the spray bottle is just like, I think it's normally used for hair.
Yeah, I think so.
It's just a super fine mist.
Right. And this is not right there, but I'll get it. This brush is too big for this little bitty area here.
Here, I got some scissors. Let me cut it down for you. No? Okay.
No. This petal is supposed to kind of be coming up from the dark here. The back side of it is dark. Is that your stomach? Oh, is the humidifier?
I guess, I don't know.
It's growling. Something.
I didn't know what that was. I thought it was you.
No. Nope. Okay. Getting some of the green. There and there. And then these areas down here have some greenish tint to them. Adding some of that green in there. And we'll have to make that purple that's in our shadows that dark, because that's how dark we want it. So let's add this color over here to our background. Well, I've got it on my brush. There's some pink in this background up here. We can get the brighter pink. And then I'm just going to grab my glazing medium and just kind of blend out those edges a little bit. So kind of blends it in. Grab some of the more of the green. Just make sure our background area is looking good. Finish it off. Leaving some of those brush strokes showing just to kind of make it interesting back there. And just make sure that there's no areas where the paint looks thin.
Somebody asked if you thought if they would use a light pink as the undercoating, would that look good, or would it?
Yeah, you could do that. You use the light pink all over everything and then paint the green over. The green would go over that just fine. Okay. That would work well. I should have thought of that. Let's go back in and start over. Mm-hmm. That's the fun of painting this live for the first time. It's like sometimes I get done with it, I'm like, I should have done that. Like, it would have been so much easier. Yeah. It's a discovery process. Every painting is different. All right, I'm gonna add the green to this unbleached titanium, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna kind of tap it because that edge is kind of uneven. It's like a little bit fuzzy. And this part's not in our photo, but I'm just kind of guessing that it's gonna go off that way. There. And then very lightly just kind of dust this side of it with just a little bit of highlight color peeking through.
Which brush are you using?
This is the Filbert. It's probably not the best brush for it, but it's working all right. Okay. I'm gonna grab the large brush here. And just use that to smooth that paint out because it's this little brush is just not moving it fast enough for me. Okay. Clean out these brushes and take them out of the water. You don't want to leave your brushes in the water. I did that for a lot of years, and ruined a lot of brushes. Doesn't really ruin them necessarily, but what it does is the handles are usually wood that it's painted, and so the water will seep up underneath all this metal and get onto that wood, and then the wood will expand with that water and it'll crack the paint off your brushes. So that's why. And then it'll warp your handles too, because they'll dry funny. Sometimes they'll get misshapen. Okay, good enough. We'll do some more on the leaf, but that'll give us a head start on it. Get the white and get this purpley pink, the one that we mixed with a little bit of the purple and magenta. And we'll just continue to fill in our flower. And a little bit of glazing medium, a little bit of, just to kind of help that paint go on smoothly. The glazing medium can make your paint too transparent though, so just kind of be aware of that if you don't want it. You don't want to add too much of it if you're trying to cover an area. Really, the water droplets are almost like a part 2 because it's going to be a whole nother lesson on top of this. I thought about doing it for a bonus video, but I really wanted it to be free on YouTube, so I knew it would be kind of a longer video, but be worth it. And then grabbing lots of the white. This one is much more light. It's getting a lot of sunlight, so it's getting all this pretty highlights. And let's go ahead and put in the rest of the dewdrop there. Blending back there. I'm using the edge of the brush, the side of it, to do these lines. You get thinner lines that way. And a little bit more control when you go along that edge. go. Oh, just stuck my thumb in that. That is the bad thing about these ones, is they don't have like a underside to grab onto. With the regular canvases, you can grab the bottom. You can, put your fingers inside the back. That sounded really bad. You can grab this part like that and hold it. And you don't even have to touch the edge, So,
Look at that painting.
that was Tuesday's painting. But with these, there's nothing to grab onto. It's just like, yeah. That's really bad.
I didn't hear what you said. So
Okay, it's a good thing because
I'll
you would have gone with it.
I'll have to go back and watch. I wonder if I can rewind. Let's see. Oh, I can.
Yeah, it was inappropriate.
Just what my childish nature needs.
Exactly. That's why I said it. I said you would like it.
I'm listening. Hold on.
Right. Mark's hearing it now. There's no backside to put your fingers into, so sorry. Sorry. If you're watching with your kids,
Don't
I apologize.
repeat it.
Oh my god.
Oh man,
terrible.
I'm blushing.
That's even funnier.
Is it hot in here?
Oh my god. Sorry. I apologize. Warn your kids. I usually try to keep it very PG. Did not mean to say that. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
No. Now everybody's going back to listen.
Now chat's like blowing up. What did she say?
We need some thumbs up for that. Come on.
Maybe the last you hear of our channel.
Don't worry, there was only like 580 people watching. So.
Oh no. Don't tell me that. Oh gosh, that's funny. Well, good. We got a good crowd today.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so funny. We never know how YouTube's gonna share our videos or who's gonna end up watching. It's anywhere from 300 to 1,000. It's like anywhere in between. You never know on any given day.
Yeah.
It's just so funny, and I have no idea what controls it or how to,
Yeah. I would think that, people would want to be staying home by themselves, locked in, given everything that's going around. So,
that's true. That could be.
You can stay away from all the colds and
that's
flus
true.
and all that stuff. So.
This time of year, we usually see start to see a drop in our live show views because people are getting outside and doing stuff.
So here's my theory. That at some point in the future, all that's going to be left are introverts and gamers. Because they would have all been inside by themselves when the plague happens and wipes out the world's population.
I think you're probably right, honey.
So then
everybody that's like really adventurous and getting out there and doing stuff is going to go first.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay, well, we'll be all set then.
Yeah.
We never go anywhere.
Introverts.
I'll be more even than you because I'm for sure don't go anywhere. I stay home and work all the time, and I get my groceries delivered. So I don't even have to get out of my car.
So
it's awesome.
If the aliens come and visit in like 1,000 years, it can be a whole different look.
Yeah. That's hilarious. I like it. I like your theory there, hon. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to have to start running, but maybe not.
No, stay inside.
Stay inside.
Stay inside.
Okay. Good to know.
Start playing video games. Stay inside.
Okay.
Or
I don't
paint.
know about the video game. Yeah, I'll paint.
You can have paints and canvases and brushes delivered to you by the postal service or something, and just stay inside.
Okay. I have enough art supplies to last me about 50 years already. Let's be real. The studio is packed. I have more.
So you're a different type of doomsday prepper.
Yes.
They're stocking up on water and stuff like that.
Stocking up on art supplies.
Art supplies.
For the apocalypse. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
So what's in your bunker, Angela?
I got some kind bars and some water and a bunch of paints. And some canvases. I have a ton of canvases too. A ton.
Thank you to the sponsors.
Well, yeah, I get a stipend every year, and so I'm like, well, I need to use it. Mm-hmm. And then it just keeps piling up. I do go through a lot of them, though. I mean, we have at least 10 videos a month usually.
Yep.
Or 10 paintings a month that we do. And so, it's a lot. But I get these specialty canvases and I'm like, oh, those are cool. Let me try that. So I got all these metallic canvases last year. We even did a giveaway and I'm like, I'm going to do a painting. And I haven't done a painting. I haven't figured out what to do with them. So, one of these days you'll see a video of some metallic canvases once I figure out what to do with them. But I have a bunch of them.
So we need people to leave some ideas in the Facebook groups of what they'd like to see on a metallic silver or gold canvases.
That's a good idea.
Thank you. Click show more below the video. Go down. You can click onto the Facebook groups there.
Mm-hmm.
It is a monitored group, so it's all no meanies.
Yep, safe, no. It's a safe place to share your paintings for my tutorials, especially if you're kind of worried about the opinions of others. I created it as a place, a safe haven, kind of for beginners to be able to share their artwork in an encouraging atmosphere, because the art world can be cruel. The art world's cruel to me. And I've been painting for 30 years, so I can't imagine trying to share my art on social media. If I was just starting out, it would be terrifying. So I get it. The art. I was telling Mark, I was like, I got a comment the other day about my art, and saying that I was copying and why, and I'm like, what do you think? What do you think the masters did? They got models and they copied what they see. So I don't understand I don't know. Anyhow, it's just dumb people.
The art police are making sure you're staying in line. Be careful.
I get frustrated with people who have narrow-minded thoughts about art and what art is. Because I feel like art is, from the 2-year-old to the, Monet. It's it's all an expression of yourself, you know. That's what it is in its essence. Nobody else can create the art that you create. It's your own, it's your very own personal thing. And so I hate it when I see people trying to limit that and try to tell you what to paint. Because if you look at or tell you what art is and is not, you know, and that is not art and that kind of thing. And I just like that whole attitude, or, you know, the attitude that just because you're a beginner or just because you paint this kind of art versus, you know, some sort of art that's in a gallery or something. I
mean, I'm sorry.
It's not valid, but
I've seen some things in the gallery that I was like, wow, okay. But it didn't make it not art.
Right.
It's okay. It may not be my taste.
Right.
It may not be something that I would do, but it's still art.
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing. Just because you don't like it or appreciate it does not make it less of a valid art form or less of an, you know,
okay.
And somebody else may really love it. So,
maybe a banana nailed to a wall could be art. Just saying. Wait, that's already been done.
Yep. Cinnamon did a video about that. My friend Cinnamon Cooney on YouTube. She showed how to tape a banana to your canvas. It's pretty awesome. Great video. Yeah. No, I just mean, you know, Bob Ross was criticized when he, you know, the art world never really accepted him. You know, the fine art world never really accepted him as a real artist, you know, whatever that means. So I just, that artsy fartsy stuff that, you know, that really turned me off in college. I got a bad taste in my mouth for all of that kind of thinking that certain kinds of art are better than others, which I get it. Some art is more, maybe more original or more inspired or more whatever, more popular, more expensive for sure, you know, but that doesn't mean that what you're doing is less important. So that's my spiel about art. I just feel like it's for everybody, and for the elitists who say that, you know, that's not art, that just chaps my hide to no end. That is one of my number one pet peeves about the art world.
And I think it's an interesting segment of art critics that feel like if you haven't suffered and struggled with it, then it's not art.
Right. Yeah,
like,
that's
you know,
true. If it's too easy, then it's not real art.
Exactly. You know, you've got to really, you know, just blood, sweat, and tears.
Which for anybody who has done this, even with a traceable, it's still not easy. I defy you. Those who say that, I want you to sit down and try to paint this from just a traceable and see how you do. And then come back and tell me that, you know, that it's not real art. So, because even with a head start, it's still not, you know, it's still all about each individual brushstroke, and interpretation is going to be different. Your version of this, even starting out from the exact same point using a traceable, is going to be different than mine. That's just how art is. And so that's, you know.
So think about it this way. We could all sit down and write the same exact sentence, and everybody's sentence would look different because all of our handwriting is different.
Right.
So everybody's art's going to look different.
Yep.
You know, if you want the exact image, well, then that's why we have cameras and phones that take pictures and things like that. So real quick, what are you doing right now, painting wise?
I am just adding some dark shadows in here with the same colors, just kind of trying to fill in all of this with the Quinacridone Magenta and purple. If I'm talking and I'm not explaining exactly what I'm painting, which happens, Mark and I get to talking about other things. That's why I mentioned the colors at the very beginning of the video, and that's why we have the palette cam, so you can tell what I'm mixing, you know, and where. And so if I mix it over here, this is my kind of purple area. this was my kind of yellow area here. And then kind of in between was just the white with the Quinacridone Magenta. So I'm dipping back into these colors, and I mixed up some more of that purple and pink over here because it was dried out over here. So, yeah. So anyhow, that was my fun for the week there. Those people get deleted. They don't get to have a voice on my channel. Sorry.
So speaking of,
or my Facebook group. That's how we got involved in this. Is the Facebook group. That's anybody who talks to other people that way, or makes them feel lesser than, goes bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There's people with real problems in the world.
Yeah.
So that being said, so all the traceables are available at patreon.com/AngelaFineArt. Sales pitch.
Is that what you were trying to say?
Well, no. So there, go over there, check it out. $2 a month gets you all the traceables all the way back to February 2017.
Yep.
And then there's level $5 level.
We did not say that just so you could sell the traceables, though.
No, I didn't.
just want to make that clear.
But tomorrow we'll be painting the birds that you're seeing in the upper right-hand corner right now. And that's at the $5 level and above.
Yes.
And we'll be doing that. It's many hours. A lot more detail. Mm-hmm. A smaller group, more fun. Not.
Yeah.
All the paintings are fun. All of our supporters are incredible. Thank you so much for everybody.
Yeah, and if you can't join us for those, we totally get it. It's fine. We have so many paintings available for free. That's why we do them on YouTube for free still. Because we really want to, that's important to me to have that available for people. And the $5 level is just for those who want to take it to the next level. It's stuff that I can't really do on YouTube because I really, I make really very little off of YouTube videos. For a 10,000 view video, we may make $30. It's not a lot. And so, when I spend 3 hours on it, well, that's $10 an hour. That's all right. It's worth my time. But, when you're talking 5 hours or 6 hours, then you're like, so the Patreon just kind of makes it, more, profitable for us to be able to, or, more feasible for us to be able to justify spending that much time on a painting that takes that long, And I love getting to paint those paintings, and I know some people, would like to see them, but that's why they're not on YouTube. It's just a business decision. I know at the end of the day, it's a business, even though we do love it and do it. And I started out not being a business. It's kind of turned into that. It's taken over our lives in a good way. And it's
a way to say thank you.
Absolutely.
It goes into details, and thank you for supporting Angela and what she loves to do.
Yeah.
And hopefully she's teaching you something, because, and I know that she is, because I see the posts and the groups, and people are like amazed at what they're able to do, and they wanted to do it all their lives or whatever. And so
that makes my day. That's the whole reason we do it.
Yep.
That's the whole reason I started on YouTube, is just to help people to get to share what I like to do with other people. And I really, for a while, I almost didn't do it on YouTube, because I had that kind of thought, well, what happens if, well, no, not that. It's like you work 30 years to acquire all these skills, and then you're like, I'm going to give it away. I'm going to give away all my secrets, all of these things that I worked so hard to figure out, and, toiled and sweated to and it's difficult learning to, paint. Just painting in general is just it's a lot of fun, but it also at times can be really frustrating, which is like for any new thing that you're learning, or, anything, but it's not a science. It's a process, So you just kind of have to learn through trial and error sometimes. And so I've had a lot of trial and a lot of errors. And so the whole reason we did, I like to teach is because I want to help you avoid those things that the issues that I had, if at all possible, and make it easier. But, little part of the lizard brain of mine, was like, I don't want to share my secrets with anybody, And then I realized, no, actually I do. I do want to. And it's been amazing, the journey that we've had because of it, going from teaching locally to, classes of 20, 30 people to teaching all over the world, millions of people. It's like unreal. Mm-hmm. Unreal. It's pretty crazy. So we are very, very thankful for anybody who watches our videos along with us and
we've made some
support us, and getting to do Patreon has just really changed our lives. It's made a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. We made a lot of good friends from all over the world.
Mm-hmm. I know. I really do feel like if we go somewhere, anywhere in the world, we could call up on somebody and say, hey, you want to meet for coffee? It'd be pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I know if we ever go to Sweden, we're meeting up with Mona, that's for sure. She got to meet Ginger Cook. Oh, Ginger went on it. I know. Ginger's I got to meet Ginger too. Ginger's a hoot. She's exactly what you see on YouTube. Exactly. She's awesome. And she's Cinnamon's mom too, which blows your mind because they're hilarious. The two, you can see it. You can see where Cinnamon gets her genius from. All right. So now I'm just going back through and defining some of these a little bit more. I'm really not going to do a full-on super hyper-realistic finish on this part. I want to really focus on the water droplets. So we're going to get these looking good. They're going to be a little bit more on the impressionist side than what I might do some of my, the flowers that I've done for my large flower series. So this is going to be a little bit less refined than some of those, but it's still going to be good. Oh, so this is actually turning this way. And then scooping down. It's amazing, this white, it's like it gets absorbed by the colors underneath or something. You need several coats of it to get it to really stand out sometimes. There we go. And if you get it too bright, that's okay, because you can always glaze back over it. That's the beauty of doing it this way, is that we can put this in really bright. And then if we decide, it's too bright, just get some of that pink color and just glaze over the top of it and tone it down a little bit. So I'm kind of just pulling and lifting and letting that bottom edge break up a little bit as it skims canvas. Mark had a hard time with that technique when he was doing the swan.
I was just pretending so that people would feel, more comfortable.
Feel more comfortable.
Yeah, that they couldn't do it. So, I was like pretending, air quotes. Mm-hmm. But then I did get you come over and reach around me, kind of like a hug, and show me. So
ghost style.
Yep, ghost style. Win. Oh, I can't do this. I can't hold the brush right.
Can you come help?
Can you come? Yeah, thank you.
You know, I wouldn't do that for just anybody. I don't do that for my other male students or female students. You get special treatment.
Thank you.
It was my excuse to hug you.
Oh, I see.
See, who outsmarted who there? You thought.
I thought I tricked you.
Right, exactly.
But you were the tricky, not the tricker. Or vice versa. I don't know.
I got lost there. Now I'm confused. Okay, just blend in the back end. I added a little bit of glazing medium there. Trying to blend that. These are like tricky when they get into these little bitty areas here. And I'm working from back to front. So working on these petals as they overlap one another and trying to get, so these last few ones are the ones that are closest to us, that are the most in front. It just helps to be able to kind of layer them that way. So the ones on top, you don't have to paint around them. You can just go right over that edge there where it overlaps the other ones. Cover it up. This is way too dark, but I'm running out of my white here. I'm going to have to put some more white up.
Was that Tidy Whitey?
Tidy Whitey. Yep. I don't think anybody from other countries might know what Tidy Whitey means in the U.S. It's a U.S. slang term. Mark's calling titanium white Tidy Whitey now, which is, should I tell them what it is, or should I let them look it up on Google?
I think they just need to look it up themselves. Or they can look in chat. Somebody explained it.
Good. Okay. I've already gotten in enough trouble today.
Yep. We're going to hear it, I'm sure. So we've said enough.
Exactly.
I can see somebody just fuming right now, just pounding away on their keyboard.
I'm watching with my children. I get it. I'm sorry. I honestly am very aware of that. Okay, there we go. Cleaned up the palette so that I had a clean spot here. I'm gonna clean out my brush. Get some of the white, a little bit of the pink. Again, always kind of looking at my photograph and seeing what direction the growth lines are, you know, what the lines are doing in the flower, and trying to get those right in get the direction right in my brush strokes. Some of them like change direction, like this one's kind of going this direction, and then over here it's actually kind of coming like this. So it really quickly kind of curves around and then goes to over that way. Just defining the separation between some of these a little bit. This one actually went on pretty good the first go around, so I'm not going to have to do a whole lot with it.
We can go look at trucks then.
Ooh.
If we get done early.
We're back to that, huh? Okay, we'll do that. What time do they close on Saturday?
5.
Oh.
Our poor salesman last week. We got down there just about 5 o'clock.
Did we? Yeah.
And he stayed. And then we didn't buy anything.
He's a good sport. Quiet in here, sorry.
I know, you're
thinking.
painting and
Thinking. All right.
How's your paint doing today? Is it better with the humidifier?
It is, yes. I can tell a difference.
So we just have one of these cool mist humidifiers in the room here.
Yeah, I've been having trouble with my paints being super dry the last few weeks. They're still kind of drying out, but they're not. The humidifier is definitely helping. Definitely. Okay, so trying to just highlight that. Let's get this little guy filled in here. What was that? Sounded like something from the server.
Something in there?
Yeah.
Maybe the power surge caused the battery to
Come on.
kick on.
We didn't lose our lights, but our lights the lights aren't tied into that.
I think it just fluttered enough for it to sense.
Interesting. Got a backup power supply for the stream, but not the lights. So if we ever lose power, we'll be able to still paint, but we won't. It'll be in the dark. So
I think a couple of lights may be on there.
I think there's a couple. Yeah. I think the large LED bank above our heads might be in it.
So people have noticed that your description says 9 by 12 linen canvas board.
Okay, I'll change that.
Which it isn't.
No, it's not.
I have a note here to change it.
No, I literally was doing these schedule at 1 o'clock, till 1 a.m. on the day that we set that schedule, because we were wanting to have it out the next day, and it was like a Friday night, and I didn't go. I usually, when I set the schedule, I'll go through and kind of figure out what colors, or try to figure out, sometimes I change it still, but best I can, figure out what colors I think I'm going to need for the whatever image it is that I'm painting, and put that in when I schedule it. But sometimes I just don't have time, and this one I thought I had done that, but I didn't check it today when I changed my paints. Okay, there we go. So that's working out good. I'm liking that. Adding those highlights there definitely makes a difference. Okay, I think we're getting pretty close to being ready to start our water droplets here. We are going to have a change to our schedule. I did need to mention that. We are not going to have a video on the 21st. So my birthday's the next day, and we're gonna go up.
Visit family.
Visit family, yeah. So I thought they were going to come here and we would have time to do it, but we're not going to have time.
We're going to go there.
We're going to go there. So we're going to miss that. But we'll make it up. We'll do that. We'll do that. The landscape that we have scheduled, we'll just do it the next month. We'll do it in April. So that's not for a couple weeks though, so we still have time to get the word out. But I did want to mention that.
So if
anyone who cares. There's like 3 people that are like, darn it.
I care. Somebody wanted to know that if they do this on a more square canvas, like a 12 by 16, would they just enlarge the flower, or would they just add more petals, or
12 by 16? I would probably crop it. I would probably just let me think. Hold on. So you're talking something right in here, probably. So you could probably crop out that part and do it like right in here, or yeah, you could elongate. You might find a photograph that's got the same, try to add petals outside the border, this way and this way, and then that way you could get all of this, because this is actually kind of important, I would think, to get in there. I think that center of it adds a lot. All right, I'm gonna get my I'll go ahead and get this little brush here, the number 2 round, and get some of the yellow. Let's get some yellow oxide, a little bit of the green. It's just a hint of green. And my white. Okay. And there's kind of a darker, we get a little bit of the purple and green, quinacridone, the magenta and green there. And I'm going to use it to add some little bits there in the center, and then use this lighter version to kind of highlight some of the petals that I was seeing in here. There's just a little cluster of like really tiny little petals right in the very center. So I'm going to just mark those out there. And then I use this green here. There, and a little bit there. Use a really dark purple, purpley mixture of green and magenta here for this area down here. And then adding just straight magenta now to blend it up into the flower. If you don't have that super dark, then this won't pop out at you. So you have to have that dark and light, the juxtaposition of the dark and light there to get your really vivid contrast. Your colors really get good dimension on your flowers. So I'm going to use this Quinacridone Magenta here and just some glazing medium. Glazing some shadows there. And all these that are coming up out of the depths. They need the dark color. Emerging from the shadows. Very metaphorical today. Lots of deep thinking going on over here. This is really not the best brush to be doing this. I think I'm going to get this angle brush. It does better getting in these little tight corners, and you can blend it out more easily for glazing. See how it tints that pink too, so we can use it over the top of some of these white to tint. This is one of my super secret artist tips that I didn't know if I wanted to share, because it really makes a big difference.
Is that why you whisper when you talk about it?
Yes. Super secret. Come back in the opposite direction with the white while that's still wet. Just kind of blending that in. But glazing will take your paintings to the next level if you learn how to do it. And just a little bit goes a long way. It just kind of makes everything look a little bit more realistic, a little bit more finished. Bright white. Add the bright white on some of these tips. And then just lift, kind of flicking it down to get that broken blended edge. It takes a little bit of practice, but once you can kind of learn that little flicking brush stroke, it'll really help. Makes it a lot easier to blend things out. Okay, then this highlighted right here. So once I've glazed, then I'm just going back over some of these edges where the glaze got in places where I didn't want it, just to kind of clean it up. Okay.
Somebody wants to know, is there anything that you can't paint?
I don't feel like I'm a very good portrait painter. We tried it last year and I wasn't 100% happy with the results. I mean, it was all right. I feel like I'm not great at it. If it's like anything though, if I practiced it more and did it more, we'd get better at it, you know. It's just, I just haven't had time to work at it, you know, to try to figure out the best ways of going about it, get good results. I mean, like I said, I think it looked like a person. It was blended and everything, you know. It wasn't like hideous, but it wasn't like my favorite painting we've done.
Somebody went there.
She wasn't Quasimodo.
You know, but
somebody winked.
Somebody went there.
Went there? What did they do?
Beach chairs.
Oh, that was low. That's just cold. That is hitting me where it hurts.
Hashtag truth.
Hashtag truth. Hashtag true fact. That's hilarious. I love it. That's, yes, people and beach chairs. I'm in my list. Go back in. Come back in. Let's go check back out. Start over. Our three worst things that I paint are portraits. Beach chairs. Oh my gosh. If you watch that video, there's a beach chair video that we did. It was a great cloud tutorial. Like, I did awesome on the clouds. And then I was like, you know what? We spend enough time on this. I think I'm just going to simplify these chairs a little bit. Like famous last words. So instead of painting what was actually on the reference photo, I, like an idiot, thought, I can figure out how to simplify a chair. I mean, you know, like, let's just give it a couple legs instead of, like, it was like one of those weird reclining ones that had all these legs and everything. I'm like, let's just give it 2 legs, you know, 3, 4 legs. How many legs are in a chair? See, I don't even know. And I think that was part of the problem. And it did not go well. I don't think you'd want to sit in it, is what I'll say. It looks sort of chair-like, but it was probably not very functional.
They are definitely not OSHA approved.
Oh, no. So funny. All right, so there's our flower. Let's go ahead and do a little bit more on the leaf. Oops, shoot. These paints are do dry out fast. This palette, the glass palette, does dry things out faster too. I have to say it does speed things along a little bit, which is fine normally, but you can't leave something and come back to it. It's not going to be wet still. All right, so I'm going to use this yellow green here along the edge. Going back in with some bright white just in a couple of places. Cat hair. And I'm gonna add some yellow to this green. Maybe a little bit of burnt sienna. That's why I added the burnt sienna to our list. It's a good color to kind of tone down the green. Good. And I'm going to use it in here. And I've got all these colors in here, so it's going to kind of meld together and add just a little bit of detail to this leaf. And there's not really any major veining except for just along the middle there, which I'll add a little bit. This brush does not want to do this for me.
Do I need to take it in the back room and give it a ducking too?
Yeah, you do. You need to tell it to start working.
Okay.
Shape up.
Or it might spend an extra long time in the water.
Yeah, you're going to have a long bath to think about what you've done. You come back and apologize, and we might think about using you again in our next video.
I mean, there are a lot of brushes there waiting for their turn,
Exactly.
So don't get cocky.
Just because you've been my favorite for years does not mean that you can't be replaced. That goes for you too. No, I'm joking. I just thought, well, what that sounded like.
Warning heated. Yeah, I knew once you got famous, you know. all those stars start hanging out and dating each other, I know.
Uh-oh, yeah.
Brad Pitt and...
Well, I do have a slight art crush on Will Kemp, so you may be in trouble. And Andrew Tischler, too. Just have to say, be in full disclosure. Call me. No, I'm joking. Don't. Oh, God.
Who's blushing now?
Will did say cheers to me once, and I commented on one of his videos. So I feel like we're friends now. All right, adding this kind of yellowish color right along the border of that white edge. And I kind of just added it along the center line of the leaf here. I'm going to add it in with the I'm just going to kind of brush, and I'm really kind of almost dry brushing this on. The paint's not super thick here, just trying to get not super fluid, I should say. Just trying to get kind of some texture on this leaf here. That looks pretty good. Get this leaf dark over here. What?
Somebody said, don't worry, Mark, you have 88 followers on your channel. So.
Did they just go subscribe to it? Yeah. They're trying to put Mark up over the edge.
That's right.
Like, save their
Okay,
marriage.
so that's it. Go over to my channel. Follow. I'm going to be the person on YouTube with the most followers and no videos.
Going for the record.
I'm going for the record.
That would be really funny.
He's got 1 million followers and not a single video.
He makes zero money. Oh, that's awesome.
The sponsors would love me.
Oh my gosh. You're the most influential non-influencer.
You can have a successful YouTube channel with no videos. Yeah, I just sit around and do nothing. And literally.
Oh my gosh. Okay. White here. It's amazing you can do this like 3 or 4 times and you can still need to do it more. The white just kind of, like I said, absorbs down into what is happening underneath there. Even though it's like one of our most opaque colors, it still, for some reason, does that. Okay, so let's start on the bubbles. Yay. Bubbles, my bubble.
My bubbles.
My bubbles. If you know the reference.
Movie quote.
Movie quote. We only watched that movie about a bazillion times when the boys were little.
I'm sure somebody will post it in the comments here, so don't say anything. You win absolutely nothing, but
but the knowledge that you were better than everybody for a very short amount of time. All right, I'm mixing up more of that purple. The purple and magenta just seemed to be kind of the color. I realized that I think this Well, yeah, I think this petal actually comes out a little bit farther over here now that I'm looking at it. Let me do a little bit of that. Do we have a winner yet?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, good.
Oh, yeah, Dom was on that one.
Dom's got kids.
Yep. Oh,
cute.
yeah, I could have a Patreon page too with no videos. Check.
Oh, God. Don't encourage him. Y'all are bad influences. You're enablers. All of you. I think they're the ones talking you into getting a pickup truck too, probably.
That's how I could fund it.
Buy Mark a truck. Oh, Lordy. No. You gonna start a GoFundMe page for... That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, no, I think there's better things people can do with their money.
I think so too.
For sure.
Okay, there we go. Just widened out that petal there a little bit. So first thing I want to do is define the bubbles a little bit. So I'm going to use a little bit of titanium white, a little bit of zinc white, kind of 50-50. And draw bubbles in. Okay, let me see where this one was. I lost it. I think it's right in here. Somewhere in there like that. And then this little bitty one right here. Okay, somewhere in there. I think it comes out a little farther on this side.
Okay. Okay, so which white did you start with?
This is zinc white.
Okay.
I added a little bit of titanium white, but then this is just zinc white here. And then this one is in on this petal a little bit. And there's a reflection onto the petal itself. Here. Okay. All right, then I'm going to grab the purpley color. It's our shadow color. Some glaze. And I'm going to go on the right underneath where the bubble is touching, any part that the bubble is touching the petal. Especially where we can see the inside of the bubble, like this one here. And I'm getting some of the glaze, and while that paint's still wet, I'm just kind of pushing it out just a little bit to blend it out. So it's not a solid line. And then this one's got one too. This one, the shadow only goes about halfway, and then it turns into highlight. And then this one, a little bit of a shadow right here. We can go ahead and put it kind of along the bottom edge there all the way. And then this one too has kind of got a little bit of a shadow. One over here definitely has a shadow almost all the way around because it's setting on top of the, and it's kind of flattened out. And bringing this shadow out just a little bit onto the petal right there. Okay, so I printed out so we could see a little bit better. So let's go ahead and work on this one. So you can see that's the shadow right there that we've already kind of done. And it fills in kind of towards the inside of the and then the highlight kind of goes on the outside here and then right here, and then there's a little square of green, whoops, right in here. So I need to get some of our green. I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit of the blue too, because we're using the color that was back here. So that was the blue and the brown, I think, with the green. And we're going to fill in right up to the edge there. You can zoom in, hun, if you want. Okay, good. And I'm going to do curved line. And just before this, so right in here, I'm going to do a line here. So it's not quite the halfway mark. And then come to where this would be finishing around and do like that. Right there. And then I'm going to grab some of the yellow green if I can get some, which I can't. So I'm just going to make it up. Get some of the yellow green in there. Get some of that darker green. I'm going to be picking up all the colors that are, it's like a little mirror almost. Water. Pick up all the colors around it. Reflecting those out. I'm going to use some of this yellow green in here. There's a little bit of it right here. And then these ones are too far away from the green to be able to pick any of it up. So the only thing these are picking up are the flower colors. So let's go ahead and get some of that darker pink here. I'm going to add it into this. It goes almost to the top, but not quite. And then goes down to that. And I'm just going to use the glazing medium to kind of blend out the edges a little bit. And bring it right up to that border of white that we did earlier. Let's use some of this color in our flower here. This one's already got that light darker, so I'm going to add some of the lighter.
Which brush are you using?
Number 2 round. It's a little one right here. Forgot to put the shadow on this one. So there's a shadow around the back side of that. Okay. And the same thing here. Little shadow there. Cast onto the leaf. And a little bit of a darkness on the inside of it. Grabbing some of that glazing medium with that darker color. I'm going to just kind of glaze on this petal here. Right up next to the where those attach. And then I'm just going to kind of break up that color along there and add a little bit more of the dark green. Second coat. All right, let's add some of the pink into this guy here. So I'm going to have to use some white with it because we're going over that green. It's not going to cover very well, so I'm going to add a little bit more white than we need, and we'll tone it down later. If you look at the shapes that I'm making here, it's almost like little flower petals, like they're reflecting the petals that, you know, are in the flower. It's just like a little mirror. I'll bring this one out just a little bit more. There we go. I'm going to use the glazing medium here. Glaze. I'm going to switch to a smaller angle brush here. Get some more of that glazing medium and kind of blend over that so it's a little softer. There we go. Here we go. So we kind of blended out that edge into the green here. And we'll add a little bit of the darker magenta in here, but we'll let this dry first so that we can manipulate it a little bit. So let me get the white, titanium white here, and I'm going to do this bright highlight that's on this guy. And get the glazing medium and kind of tap out those edges a little bit. Really bright right there. Bright right there, and there's also a little bit of brightness right back there where it touches. Oops, this brush is too big. I'm just using water here. I'm gonna kind of clean up this edge here. Gonna get some of that darker color and bring that out just a little bit right here. And then use it inside the bubble here to find that edge up there around the white. Use a little bit of blue with the Zinc White here. I'm going to use the blue on here. Going over the top of the green just a little bit. And just use the white. Gonna define right there, a little bit right there. And the thing about this is just, it's all about kind of just making sure that you keep your outside edge kind of soft, blended in softly. So I'm going to take some of the Zinc White and just kind of pull it in towards the middle a little bit, maybe a little bit of pink with my glazing medium. Soften that outline that we did before just a little bit. And then I'm going to grab the titanium white and flatten out my brush and use it for the brightest highlight right here and right here. Goes right along that outside edge on this side. Again, kind of following the curve of the bubble or water droplet. Use a little bit of the Zinc White here to kind of go over the edges of this green here. Kind of blend it in a little bit. And soften that line just a little bit, so kind of do a soft blend from that outer edge in just slightly. Rounding this out a little bit here. This one's pretty much done, I think. Just the slightest bit of that's good. Let's get a little bit of that bright highlight and put it along that edge there. Get some more of it right there. And then in here there's just like random little dots. Very lightly placed. On this one, so let's get some of that Zinc White here. We're gonna blend out that top edge, so I'm gonna get maybe some of the pink, lighter pink, come up underneath it, blend it out a little bit. You're not going to get to go look at your truck, I'm sorry. I think we're going to be ready unless you want to go leave.
No, I looked at it this morning.
Okay.
Besides, I'm not going to buy today anyways.
Okay. Okay, looking at the Zinc White here. I'm going to put kind of a brighter highlight right along that edge there. Kind of define that just a little bit right where it touches on. And this in here is actually, this comes out here. This does not meet up with that, so I'm going to bring this highlight out a little bit right there, and then this line here actually gets distorted by the water, so this is offset just a little bit right here. Comes the shadow reflection comes in to the on top of the petal a little bit, if that makes sense. So right there. Over here it's just about lined up with it, but over here it looks like it's slightly offset. Putting some little random lines in there. Breaking up that color just a little bit, and then I'm going to get that highlight color, the titanium white, tidy whitey. Get my brushes out of the water here. And do my highlight right here. Like that, white. Goes right up to the right up to that edge. And make sure that like right here has got a nice bright highlight too. Okay. Still feel like I'm not 100% happy with this one. I'm not sure why. Get a little bit of pink with my glaze medium. Go over the middle area here. Soften up the edges of that green. Okay, let's do this one. This one's pretty easy. Just a little bit of white here and along this side. This one's got just a little bit of bright white here. It's really kind of muted compared to the other ones. It's in kind of a shadow area, I think. Trying to lift off some of that color, put it on kind of bright there. Go get some of the bright white right here. And I mean, there's a bunch of little ones, so if you wanted to, you could really go to town and add a bunch more of them. Add a little shadow on one side and highlight the other. It's like shadow on this side, shadow in here, highlight, highlight. Okay, let's do this one. Now this is our main one. So our first layer is dry. I'm I'm going to go back to the a little bit larger one here. Get the Zinc White, some of that blue that we mixed earlier, and make some windows. What it looks like to me. Again, curve. Cashmere is telling you it's time to stop. Or me, I should say. And she's trying to talk Mark into letting her on his chair, I think.
Yeah, no, you had it right the first time, on her chair.
On our chair. And then the bottom edge kind of fades off, so that. This is Zinc White here. You can see the shape of a person's head right here. That's what we're creating in it. The person taking the picture.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Just a little bit of highlight right here. And we're going to have to do several coats on here to get it quite the right transparency look, but I'm going to do some titanium white, so it's covering that green a little bit better. There. Green and yellow. Add the white to it. Get some glaze. I'm going to glaze some random green patches here. You can add some of that to here too. I think that'll help. Just kind of letting that dry in between steps here. I'm going to get some of the purple and quinacridone. I need some more glazing medium. I'm all out. I'm going to go over the parts where we already added the pink here. Add some darker shadows to it. Every time you look at her, she makes that noise. Oh. Oh, did you notice me? She's so cute. She doesn't realize it, but Mom's been looking at puppies. Her world's about to get rocked. I get another dog. She's had a nice little run of, oops, I was off camera there. She's had a nice little run of having the house to herself for last year. Every time I think about buying a dog, though, I start crying, so I don't know if I'm ready for it yet. I lost my dog a year and a half ago in October, I guess. Yeah. Still haven't gotten over it. It's tough. Okay, a little bit of the Zinc White here with the, I'm just gonna go back over. I was darkening up those shadows in this one. I felt like it just didn't look quite finished. Get some titanium white.
Somebody's asked if they don't have zinc white, what could they use?
You can use the titanium white and just use glazing medium with it, or water, but the zinc white's transparent, so it just gives you a head start, you know. A little bit easier to get the see-through effects with it. Okay, the titanium white here with some pink mixed in. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Okay, I'm just going to go along that edge and just kind of define it a little bit better. And then just blend that into the middle, just slightly. Goodness gracious, I'm losing my voice. This is not good for tomorrow. I got a lot of talking to do still tomorrow. I don't feel like I've been talking a whole lot today either. I feel like I've been kind of quiet. Comparatively. Getting some of the Quinacridone Magenta here. I'm just going to blend it back over the white spots, blending those in a little bit. There we go.
Somebody asked, could you explain a little further about using the glazing liquid opposed to zinc white?
Yes. I'll show you the difference here in a second. Okay, so excuse me. Customer's like, you called? Okay, so here is titanium white with glazing medium. And I'll just put it along here. So you can see it's pretty, covers pretty well, and it's transparent, but it's got some color to it. You know, it's going to cover pretty well. And then this is the Zinc White alone with no glazing medium. And then if you add glazing medium to it, it's going to be that much more transparent. And the thing with Zinc White is that, well, titanium white has these particles in it that disrupts the light. It's what causes it to be so opaque. And the Zinc White doesn't have its particles are transparent, I guess, so it's not going to be opaque like the titanium white is, so it's not going to cover up as much. But you can see that they're very similar techniques using the thing is that you can't ever really get rid of those particles in the titanium white. You can dilute them with the glazing medium, but they're still there. With the Zinc White, they're not, maybe? I don't know. I want to do it on a sheet where you can see it, but I guess I could do it on here. That's Zinc White. And this is titanium with glaze. See how it's more white? That's a difference. You can continue to add more glaze to the titanium to get it more transparent. That's a little bit better. So. All right, we're almost done with this. I just need to do a couple more coats on the... I'm going to get some of this pink here. And there's pink right here. Coming across. It's very faint though, so I kind of did it a little bit darker than it is in the picture. Maybe get some of that glazing medium and just kind of blend it out a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to use the titanium white, little bit of blue. Some of the glazing medium. You really want all of that green covered up from the background. And then getting some of the Zinc White and adding some little reflective areas here. And then that titanium white straight up for my brighter highlight right in there and right here. She coming up on the mic there. I can hear her real
She is now laid down on the table right in front of my keyboard.
Kind of on top of it, almost. I think it's time to pay attention to the cat now. Yeah. Enough of watching Mom. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. I think I'm gonna add just a little. That's not there, but I feel like it needs it. It just needs something right there. Okay. It looks a little creepy having that little face thing in that, doesn't it? It's there though, so. And there's also some kind of, get some blue, maybe a little bit of the green. And some of the zinc white. There's also some little small reflective things happening, so you can add little bits here and there. There is like this line through these windows, so I'm going to go ahead and put that back in if I can get it dark enough. There you go. What you thinking, hon?
Just making sure I keep you on camera.
Oh, okay. Trying to get off camera again?
No, but you never know. Just when I look away, you like go off somewhere else.
Yeah. Okay. I thought I was doing something here, like trying to get my attention. Okay. Getting some of the zinc white here, and there is a reflection right here on the leaf, you can see. And right up underneath, let's get some titanium white. Right up underneath where it touches the leaf, right there. And it comes up into the leaf, so make sure you've got this one. We've already got that one. This one looks okay. It's got a nice bright highlight on the bottom. You can see this one's got a little highlight coming off of it right here. Depends on where it's laying. You know, some of them will have it and some of them won't. This one looks like it might have a little bit of it. Oh, there goes our humidifier. So it's been 3 hours? Wow. Okay. So this was not the short video I thought it might be for Saturday.
So the 2-hour video is 3 hours. Check. Time warp.
Well, you know me. If I can make it more complicated than it needs to be, I will. But this was actually, I knew this was going to be a long one. I was hoping that I could shorten it, and I did a little bit, but it's still a pretty involved design. So, okay, I'm going to quit. Call that good. Stick my brushes back in my water. Zoom out there if you want to. And I'm going to sign it. I'll sign it down on the leaf here. Come up about 1/4 inch so that you can put a frame on it if you want to eventually. Oh, it turned out good. We've got some super chats. Go ahead and take out the palette. There we go. Now you can see it. You can zoom in a little bit.
Alrighty. We had a really good crowd today. Trying to keep my phone away from my cat here so I can read it. And we had 3 super chats. The first
Awesome.
one was from Mama, and she says, "Thank you, Angela and Mark, for all you do. You make my day brighter. Art hugs and love."
Oh, thank you.
And then the second one was from Tracy, and it was an apology. She was asking some questions, but no apology was needed.
Oh.
And then the last one was from Denise, and Denise says, "Here's a down payment for your truck, Mark.
Oh.
A little help from my friend. LOL. Hi, Angela. Art hugs to you."
Oh, thank you, Denise.
So thank you to Denise.
Is that
and
my
to
Aunt
Tracy.
Denise? No.
No.
Okay.
But, she may adopt you. I don't know. We'll see. And then also Mama.
Thank you very much, guys. That's so sweet. So sweet. We so appreciate it. Don't encourage Mark, though. But no, I'm joking. What were you saying, hon?
They couldn't see the flashing disco lights because I switched over.
That's okay. You can see it probably on mine.
Ruined.
It was still showing on here, I'm sure.
Whatever.
Oh, you had side cam on it, though, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there we go. I'm going to quit now. I just added another little layer of highlights to some of them. So, like how that turned out. That bubble, really cool. Turned out really cool. I think that was my favorite. All right, guys. Thanks so much for hanging in with us today. And hopefully, if you're part of our Patreon crew, you'll join us tomorrow for the bonus video for the birds on the branch. Mm-hmm. And if you want to sign up for that, there's still time over at patreon.com/AngelaFineArt. It's also on our schedule, which is posted all over the place. If you click on that Crowdcast link, it'll take you to where you can sign up to watch the video too. So either place. All right, guys, thanks so much for hanging in here with this long video today on Saturday, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you next time. Bye.